do an update because I posted the review video after having shot the Adler B220. Now there's a couple of there's one thing I got wrong with regards to the first round racking the action and the first round not feeding, and then you'd have to rack it again. You'd have to rack it twice to get a round to load. That's if you didn't have a round in the chamber. What I didn't know was that there's actually, and I haven't got the gun here because it's at the gunsmith's, getting the chamber polished. I'll mention that in a second. There's actually a catch that you have to depress that's in front of the trigger guard. So if you're not putting one in the chamber and you're just cocking it, releasing the bolt and then feeding, well, you can fit 5 of these guys or 4 of the longer Remington SGs, and then you cycle the action. Unless you depress that catch, it won't release the lifter and it won't lift a round up. So I didn't know that. Now, because I said I took it to I had to go into the city to get a new battery for this camera because the original battery is like 9 years old, I think, and it's just really starting to die and causing problems. It's one of the reasons that it took so long to post that video. Kept having to recharge it just all night. Not all night. So I wasn't aware of this catch in front of the trigger guard, and so I said, because the gunsmith was right there, and I said to him, "Hey, I'm having problems with this thing," and he said, "Oh yeah, give us a look at it." And I told him about the failure to feed on the first round if you don't have one in the chamber, and he said, "Oh, all right, I'll go and have it." So he took it out the back. He obviously mucked around with some rounds feeding through it, and he came back and he said, "All right." And I told him about the Remington SG's empty shells jamming and in the chamber, and he said, "Right, the failure to feed on that first round issue is you." He said, "There's this catch here. You got to release because the lifter is actually also the loading port gate, so it's a dual purpose. So if you don't release that, it won't feed it the first time you cycle it." So, and he said, "Oh, it's in your manual." And I said, "Well, that's funny because I don't remember seeing that in the manual." "Oh, well, I must have missed it." So I've gone back to these things are really, really basic, to the Adler manual, and there's nothing in there about it at all. So I don't know what he was talking about. Sorry, John, but you're wrong. If you don't believe me, I'll bring the manual in and show you. Alright, so that was okay. Now, so with regards to these things, the Remington SGs, because they are a fair bit longer than in that video. Also, there was a mistake I made in that video. I said that they were federal, that these 9 pellet 00 buck MG military grades were federal. They're not. They're Winchester's Olin's. So, or Olin, yeah. So, but you can tell the difference. You can see the difference there. Like I showed the difference with regards to the Remington. He said, "All right." He said, "What it probably is that the Remington head is all brass, and it expands a lot easier. Brass is a lot more ductile and malleable than steel, whereas these military grades, these Olin military grades, Winchester military grades, have got a steel head and they don't move much at all when the propellant is ignited, when the explosion happens, or quick burn, whatever you want to say." The other thing is, he said that, because I don't really know much about, I know a little bit about shotgun ammo, but I don't really know sort of chronology of what happened when as far as the designs. But he told me that this plastic cap affair actually was around, or the cap affair, this rolled over crimp affair is actually older than this standard star type crimp. So I was completely unaware of that. There you go, learned something new. So I went there today, and he said, look, he said, I'll polish your chamber because it's still under warranty. I mean, it's only a few weeks old, and I was sort of like, really? You reckon polishing the chamber? Because I stuck my finger in there and moved it around, and I said, geez, that chamber doesn't feel that bad. And he's looking down there and he says, no, that chamber's rubbish. It needs a polish. All right, you're the gunsmith. You know more about it than me. So I said, yeah, all right, no worries, polish away. So it's at the gunsmith's, and he's going to polish it for me. And it's going to be interesting to see if polishing that chamber is going to make any difference with regards to that Remington ammunition, because I have a feeling that it's not going to make any difference. But hey, I don't know. You don't know. So I was pretty keen to get more of this Olin MG military grade double aught buck with the 9 pellets, but no. But what I did manage to get a hold of is OSA. Now, all the OSA ammunition that I've ever tried, centerfire ammunition, was excellent. Like Buffalo River is their centerfire brand made by ADI here in Australia, and 223 and 308. That's what I put through my 223 and 308 because that ammunition is just superb. Like I reckon it's like premium ammunition and it's priced very reasonably. And, it's not expensive at all. So. And I'd never heard of this ammo. OSA field load. So it is 9 pellet SGs, and the actual the cartridge or the round size is pretty much, it's even shorter. It's even shorter than the Olin MG. So, which is good because I'll definitely be able to fit 5 in there with that stuff. Now, I'd never heard of it. I can't remember if the guy at the gun shop reckoned that it was made here in Australia. I can't even remember if I asked him. I sort of probably assumed it was, but it's not. It actually says that it's manufactured in the EU. So I have absolutely no idea who makes this stuff. If someone does, let me know, because there's no indication of where it's made. It just says manufactured in the EU. Yeah, it could be anywhere. EU's got a lot of countries in it. But another good thing about it is, aside from being OSA brand, and as I said, their stuff is typically stuff that I've used in the past, was typically excellent. The other thing is that it's only $25 for 25, so it's only $1 a round for SGs, which is, yeah, that's damn cheap. So now, even though John the gunsmith said probably the reason that that's more brass too. I reckon that one of the reasons that the Remington was getting stuck is that the head is all brass and it expands a lot easier than the steel-headed ones. But this Federal stuff, that looks like, it doesn't look like it's coated steel. It looks like it's all brass. So, yeah. But the actual amount of metal, like there's a lot there. So. But the head on this stuff, on this OSA stuff, is quite short. Like, you can see the difference there. From the rim up, like, yeah, it's got stuff all. So I'm going to be very, very. I can't wait to get the gun back after John polishes the chamber and put a ton of this stuff through it, because. I mean, I didn't mention that the iron sights are off because, if I give it back to him and say, nah, these iron sights are off, I mean, they're not off by a lot. They're off by a little. It's a short range weapon, let's face it. And I'm going to be shooting SGs out of it. That's why I bought it. And the other thing is, there's no guarantee that if I do give it back to them and they give me another one, that one's going to be any better. Alright? So, yeah. In any case, I did want to put that that red. I do want to have a red dot on it. If that red dot survives, good. I'll be really happy because those iron sights that are on it are really low. You know, you're really straining to get. You know, you're not straining, but they're low. You know what I mean? You just want to be able to throw it up to your cheek, and yeah, and with the, it's clearly designed for an optic. I have absolutely no doubt. So yeah, hopefully when I get it back, I'll be able to test the OSA field loadout. Now, I've never, like I said, I've never heard of it, so obviously I've not heard of it at all. I've not heard anything good, and I've not heard anything bad. Typically, you're going to hear the bad press before you hear any good press. Okay, bad news travels a lot faster than good news, so yeah, hopefully it'll be a real performer. $1 a round, Australian dollar a round. Hey, you can't argue with that, and they had a ton of this. So yeah, as soon as I put that thing through its paces with this stuff, if it proves good, yeah, I'll get a ton of it because yeah, I like to stock up. You never know when something like this, you know, the elephant in the room happens. I'm not going to mention it because everybody's talking about it still. So that's about it. I just wanted to do an update and correct the things that I got wrong. Yeah, like that first round feed thing, and saying that the MGs were federal. They're not. They're Olin. So something that Olin makes that I actually don't mind, but yeah, you can't. And they're $2 a round compared to $1 a round. So there you go. Hopefully this is going to outperform. Although this stuff I think is made in where is it made? Made in the USA. There you go. That's why it's expensive. Oh well, that's not expensive. $2 a round is not that expensive. Some of that other stuff. Some of the other stuff was yeah, expensive. Like which not really. Yeah, so that's about it. And I'll see you later.